Shalom everybody. We are on class Jewish Customs number 4. We have beautiful studying today. Beautiful insights. Something that is very useful. Have a seat. Is very, very useful in our daily life.
Karen, have a seat. Very unique.
And I would like to start with dedicating this to our class for Refuah Shlema. Any name you want to mention, please do it now. Tikva Bat Salama, Refuah Shlema, Amen. And I want to thank the Ghostim for opening the house with beautiful table and so much treats and good stuff that I don't have. You can just look at it. It's like Hanukkah candle. You can look at them, you can't really enjoy from it. It's beautiful. Okay, so we left off last time talking about careful about drinks and how we why it's so important to say the bracha and to make sure it's the correct bracha and to pronounce it correctly and so forth and so on. I've been saying it for so many times. And we are going from the level from the pshat, the simple explanation, all the way up to the sod. We also want to welcome the Kozowski that came back from out of town. Welcome back.
It was so pleasant when you went.
Now the table is complete with you.
It was so pleasant when you were gone away. Just for that.
Amen.
May there be
Absolutely, you did the right thing. Amen. Amen.
You're free.
We mentioned about the significance of saying bracha and pronounce the word correctly. If there is a neshama or nefesh there, you release it, and this is a great mitzvah that we do. Today I'm going to talk about that a little bit in length, about the neshamot, the nefesh, where they go, who goes where. It'll be very interesting. Let me just go to the last part that I think I didn't mention last time in regards to the drinking water. So we said it has to be covered, it's in the bracha, and here it says another comment. Rabbi Alduti Shama, he says, the rabbi, yeah, let me put the mute on, הכל טוב. Okay. שלא ישתה מים אם בישרוהו איזו בשורה שאינו טובה. One is to be careful not to drink water when he got bad news, right? We said that. Just pour it. Okay? And every type of any sin or errors, kalkala. So it's let's say it's a whiskey. You don't want to spill it. So you spill it. It's true to every drink. Just spill a little bit out of it, and you're good. And he ends with saying, "Don't le'en lishtot mikos sheshata bo ha'avel bar minan." Never drinks from a cup that a mourner drank from. Okay. I think that's the last thing we discussed. Now, our next topic is about eating pat shacharit. Do you know what pat shacharit refers to? ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. What is pat shacharit? It's a term. The Talmud speaks about it. Allah speaks about it.
In the morning.
Bake in the morning?
Ma, bake?
Bake in the morning?
Bake, you said?
Baked.
Bread in the morning. Breakfast. We'll see that breakfast, it's important to do breakfast with bread. Let me read the halacha first. Yizaher le'echol pat shacharit. One needs to be very careful to eat breakfast. And the Gemara, hifligu b'shevach hanizar ba. They praise this method for one to eat breakfast. What time? How much? What's the minimum? What if I don't have time? Sandwich is enough? A whole meal? What is it?
Coffee.
And it says that Metzila, he said one, mishmonim v'shalosh machalot. How much is shmonim v'shalosh in Hebrew?
83.
I know you know.
Oh, sorry.
83 type of sicknesses.
I didn't know.
Okay? if you make sure to eat breakfast every morning. ויש בה 13 מעלות, it has 13 איך עושים מעלות? Benefits, right? Is that right? Different type of benefits. ומחכימה את האדם בתורה, it helps one to be more wise when he study Torah. עד שחבריו רצים אחריו, even if friends trying to reach out to him, they can reach his level because he's makpid, he's very strict about it. So breakfast, it helps the body and the mind. And we know from medical and halacha perspective, this is something very important. והיא מביאה את גוף האדם לידי שלמות. So brings a person to be complete. Okay. Let me just share a few more things before we go a little bit higher on the sod level.
What kind of bread?
Okay, that's a good point. I'm going to mention that later. We'll say what kind of bread also. Okay, so the Talmud says in Baba Kama, okay, 92 too, השכם ואכול בקיץ מפני החמה ובחורף מפני הצינה. Okay, one goes out to work, heat out there, freeze. The body needs to handle this temperature change or any type of work that you do. Sometimes you don't feel like you want to eat, but it's still recommended to make efforts to eat. So if you don't feel like, eat minimum. What's the minimum? Wait a minute. Tanu Rabbanan, our suggestion in Tractate Baba Metzia, that if you make sure to eat in the morning with salt, a little bit salt, breakfast, 13 dvarim, it will give you 13, at least 13 benefit. Save you from being dehydration, from coldness, from a wind, from mazikim, I don't know what kind of mazikim, maybe the other forces, מחכימת פתי, sharpen your brain, זוכה בדין, ללמוד תורה, ללמד, דבריו נשמעים. Bottom line, it says here that you're more stable in your head, you speak clearly. Just imagine when we are on a fast day. It doesn't have to be a fast that started the night before. Just that morning. We can tell that there is a slight difference, right? Even we started 2 hours ago, or an hour ago. Our mind is not in its right place. And now the Maharal said, he heals the kis hamara. You know what kis hamara? The gallbladder. Okay? Okay. What time? What time to start? Tonu Rabbonon, it is in Psochim 12b. Sha'aravit, 4th hour. When we say 4th, 5th hour, it depends on the day. You call it Sha'ot Zmaniyot. It's calculated different every day. Sometimes the midday in the Jewish calendar. Okay, the midday can be 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. or it can be 12:05 or 1, or it depends when dawn started. Okay, so we're dividing the day into 12 parts, and this is how we calculate it. Sometimes an hour can be 50 something minutes. Sometimes an hour can be over 60 minutes. So 4th, it says kacha. The 4th hour, ma'achal kol adam, regular person. 5th hour, it's a little bit later. Ma'achal po'alim, with those who work, maybe stop for a few minutes to eat. And the 6th hour, ma'achal talmidei chachamim, it's when the scholars eat. Scholars eat at the 6th hour, calculating from, it's relatively late. After that, 7th hour and up, it's called kezorek even lachemat, meaning that it's kind of like you want to make a barbecue, okay? So you have the old coals, full of ashes, 80% is ashes, it's dirt. Instead of clearing it and bringing new coals and lighting the fire, you put it on it. It's going to ruin everything, ruin the food. The food is going to get a lot of dust and ruin the taste. We'll explain all that later. Okay, that's the idea to share this very important notion called Pat Shachrit, breakfast. Okay. I want to stop at this point and to share with you when we start talking last week about the neshamot, that how we can help this neshamot, these souls, when we eat. Something that we do on a regular day, we don't even pay attention to it. Okay? And then, remind me, we'll talk about the quantity, how much, what's the minimum, what's the best kind of bread to eat, and so forth and so on. So, if we said that yes?
Before we continue, you said 4th hour, 5th hour, 6th hour. I mean, 4th hour after sunrise, not after
Dawn,
the
from
day.
dawn.
Okay.
According to the tool, it's a big
Because-
argument when
Okay, is it from dawn, not from the day.
No, from
Not
dawn.
the days.
From dawn, which is,
Okay.
there's dawn, there's sunrise, it's around 72 minutes in between. Let's say hour and 15 minutes. Easy to remember.
Thank you.
Okay.
So dawn today
So
is
earlier the
5:00.
better. Earlier the better. Why scholars eat that late? Because they have to go to shul and they daven and they study something and then they have time to go and eat something. This is the less time to eat. We'll discuss all that B'ezras Hashem later. We mentioned that one can have a gilgul. I'm going to use this word. Means reincarnate. Okay? Gilgul in 4 levels. Inanimate. What's after that? What comes after inanimate object?
Plants.
Plants,
Animals.
animals,
Coen Brothers.
Chai Chai. Who? The Coen brothers and
Don't encourage it. Don't encourage it.
and Medaber.
Speak though humans
Human
are the
being.
only animal,
Human being.
only
Now,
creatures that speak.
If we know why we are here, because we need to rectify something, right? If you put a nefesh and a neshama in a stone, how you can rectify for anything? They can't do any mitzvot. Or a planet, or a tzomeach, or an animal, it's in a cow, it's in a fish. You cannot do any mitzvot. How this neshama can help itself? Is it the same neshama that goes to a body, human body, or it's a different kind? And what's the reason one will be in a leaf? It says that the neshama feels the change in the temperature. It's part of the punishment. So what's the answer? It's for punishment. It needs to be there for a certain time. Only God knows for how long. Okay? So if it's a punishment, why they don't get the punishment in Gehenna? We'll answer that later. I want to make a comment. Well, before I make the comment, let me do this. Neshama can go either in a tree or a leaf or a fruit. Living creature could be one of the animals, birds, fish. The lowest level will be insects. Roaches, who like roaches? Yeah. Nobody?
Where's my husband?
Who gets the punishment to be
Oh gosh, I think of that
smacked
every
with
time
a shoe?
I use a fly swatter.
We'll see.
Is that a bad thing to do?
At the lowest level, they're doomed forever. We'll see it later, B'ezras Hashem. And domem, inanimate object, in a stone or soil. Okay. It's important to emphasize that this gilgul into an inanimate object or vegetable, anything under a human being, it's not a real gilgul like one that the neshama goes to another human being. Okay, it's hitlabshut nefesh. It's when part of the nefesh of that person that needs to be punished goes and ride on a stone, a fruit, a tree, your own. Okay, all we mentioned before. It's not really in it, it's riding on it. It's part of it. It's kind of like when we do something, I think I mentioned that before, when we do a certain mitzvah, so some neshamot that need this mitzvah, it's the only mitzvah that's missing for them to go to Gan Eden. They will they come with you to ride with you, on you, when you're performing the mitzvah, and they get benefit out of it, and they're released. They do their tikkun. They're not really going into you, they're just riding on. Okay? They kind of like they're in the aura area. Okay? Not inside. So how one can rectify when he's in a stone, a leaf, or in a dog? He can't do any mitzvot. He can't fulfill any mitzvah. What's the answer?
A mitzvah can be done with him. Someone could use that object for a mitzvah. Like they could build a sukkah on it.
There is no expectation from him at that point to do mitzvah. This is a punishment. Remember, if someone is, let's say, in a stone, the next level will be he will rise up to a vegetable, a plant, animal, and then man. It's not that you can skip 2 levels. We'll see on what as well. There's a okay. I will answer that later. When someone have a gilgul in chai, so anything that is less than human being, it's a punishment, it's suffering on that nefesh, and he feels the pain. The nefesh, the person knows where he's at. He sees everything, he hears everything. And we're going to bring... Did you ever hear about stones that speaks? Is any indication in the Torah?
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
I'll bring few in a minute. How is it possible that stone will talk? Stay tuned. So they get punishment for a certain time, and at some point it elevates itself to a higher level. Which way? Who is taking care of him? Who is helping him? Someone get stuck at some point forever. At all this time, the nefesh remember what it was. The previous life. It could be a great minister, it could be a king, it could be a very wealthy person. He knows where he was and where he's at right now. It's part of the suffering. See what his actions got him to be right now. And he feels the pressure being in a stone, planet, or animal. For example, a person that gave people to eat nevelot utrefes. You know what's nevelos and trefes? What's the difference between nevela and trefa?
Isn't a nevela dead?
Okay, let's not go to this. Bottom line, it's not kosher meat.
No.
Yeah.
Either the shchita is not done correctly, or you found carcass and I don't want to eat it.
It's also a great curse word.
Nevelos and trefa? Nevela? So, someone that sold people or he feed people nevelot utrefot, he will have a gilgul in a leaf of a ilan, of a tree. And it will suffer when the wind blow on the tree, when the leaf goes from one side to another. It has no rest for a certain time till this leaf will cut off from the ilan. There is a song, I think, Avraham Fried sing about a leaf goes over a worm to cover the worm. It's all from Hashem and Haga. Everything is calculated. Even when a leaf will create a shade over a worm. So we don't know the cheshbon. Maybe another bird needs to eat from it. It's a chain of something that's going on. Yes.
Rabbi.
Yes.
So many Jewish people don't keep kasher.
Yes.
And they eat nevelot utrefot.
Right.
They're all going to be leaves.
Yes. I don't know if only limited to leaves, but they're going to suffer levels before even going to Gehenna. Unless the key is teshuvah. They do teshuvah, they can fix it in a minute.
But what if someone...
And there's a different level. Someone doesn't know. It's like Tinok Shenishba. They grew up like that.
Right.
It's a different cheshbonot.
Kidnap.
Only Hashem knows who should get what. It comes from, it's hidden in the pasuk when it says v'ha'aleh novel. How you say novel? Withered, right? Why do you say withered? Withered.
Means dried up.
Okay, in Hebrew, withered means novel. Novel sounds like nevela, right? It's hinted there. Or alezait, talking about the olive branch that, or leaf that the dove brought to Noah.
Yes.
It says ale taraf. Taraf means treife. Again, treife. It's hinted there. So someone goes to buy, kosher meat, has to must make sure that you're buying kosher meat. It's not only that you're feeding yourself, you're feeding other people. The greater responsibility is over those who are selling, and those who do the shechita, and all those who kashering it. Some rabbi says that it is impossible to have a kosher meat today with the industrial, factories and process, right? Because everything goes so fast. It's all about the money, and it's a trend for the last 10 years maybe, to do shchitas chabura. I don't know if you heard that. Shchitas chabura is small groups but gathering together, okay, and they do shechita for beef meat, and they divide it among themselves, 10 people, 15 people, whatever. And with all the dikdukim, they make sure that it's going to be 100% kosher. Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky used to eat shchitat chabura only. Okay? You heard about Rabbi Amnon Yitzchak, right? He's doing till today shchitat chabura, and he used to sell Rabbi Kanievsky many times this kind of meat. It's a little bit more expensive. It's hard to find kosher animal. So Rabbi Amnon says maybe 10% would be kosher. So like 1 out of 10. I hear that they get around 30%, 35% kosher. Meaning they open the cow, they take the lungs, okay, and they check if it's halak, no halak, and all that. So imagine to yourself over 70 or 80% is not kosher. They kind of losing money. You just bought these animals. So those who are lucky will sell it to a non-Jew. But the non-Jew can take advantage and give him very low price, especially after you spend so much time on shechita and checking. You have to pay the shochatim. It's not an easy business. Okay. And so halak or glat, it's halak it is, right? Glat is in regards to animals, okay, like beef meat. There's no such halak in chickens, fowl. Anyways, so you have to make sure that Baruch Hashem we have a good shechita here. We have Rabbi Rosenblatt that is taking care of that business, and we're all happy. It could be that one will be reincarnated into water, Gilgul water. What's the reason? Because in his life he was shofech domim. What is shofech domim? Poor domim. What's domim?
Blood?
Killer.
Blood?
He was a killer. Now shofech domim, you would say, okay, thank God, I didn't kill anybody. But according to the Zohar, the Sifra Musa, one will go after 120 years to Shemayim. They open his cheshbon and they found 20, 25 people that he killed. Wow. And he killed a fly. This is definitely a mistake here. It's no mistake. You killed people. We're going to show you who did you kill.
Lashon hara.
Because someone, embarrassment from many people, Torah says, as if you killed them. It's not just saying. It means that it's considered as shofech damim. You kill him. You killed him. Okay. So this guy will have a gilgul into a water. And they're bringing here verses, Psukim, Tishpechenu Kamayim, and then all that, Shofech Damim, and all that. Someone that, for example, another thing to pay attention to, the Torah warned us from committing sins, right? How can I tell which sin is greater than the other? I mentioned that before. How can I tell? If I slap someone, or if I punch him in the face, or insulted one, or I cheated a widow, which one is greater than the other? How can I tell? So basically, you follow the punishment. Whatever the Torah says, what's the punishment? The greater the punishment, the greater is the sin. So some sins one would do, if you transgress a law from the Torah, you're subject to a death penalty, for example. It could be with chenek. What's chenek? Chenek is strangle. So one that transgressed a law from the Torah in his life, that the punishment is strangle, and he didn't do teshuvah, he will have to get this punishment. And how he get this punishment? Either he get a sickness in his lungs, at some point he couldn't breathe. Corona was those who died from corona or this heavy flu. They said that they felt like elephants standing on their chest. They could not breathe. Or will drown anywhere, whatever. In the ocean, the sea, the pool, in the lake.
Which one is more intense, the death or karet? Which one is worse? I think it's
Karet is worse, much worse. Karet is the ultimate punishment. Karet, when the neshama is cut off.
What about choking, Rabbi?
What about what?
Choking, swallowing, you choking.
It's part of it. We almost lost the president to a pretzel. I don't know if you remember the story. What was his name? Bush, I think. It was a story about the pretzel. They almost choked to death. Someone said in the last minute.
But how about the rabbis, the great rabbis who died during the pandemic?
They have also liable for something. Here we mention there's a big tzaddikim and there's small tzaddikim. For example, we know that the tzaddikim have gilgul to a fish. If it's tzaddik, why has to go into a fish? It's a tzaddik, no? This guy. I'll talk about it.
Okay, I have another question.
Yes.
So when does a neshama go into another person, into another body?
And what do you mean? What do you mean, man?
Shel ben adam, shel tinok.
Transmigration.
Instead of
You mean at birth or as an
No.
adult?
At what point does it go up into another, from plant?
Oh,
to,
okay. So it depends. The neshama can start off from an element, okay, a domain, goes all the way level, or go directly to a neshama of a baby boy. It all depends on the situation. How many sins these guys commit, men and women.
And
Okay.
isn't it, from what I remember learning long ago, that a neshama has 3 chances?
It comes from the prophecy. It says veheveti et ashelishit. It's not really only 3. It could be many, many times, but it's part of the nefesh. Okay. You have to be patient. So I'm sure we'll finish that. You have last questions. It's from the pasuk veheveti et ashelishit. Okay. The Malchus says that there is no one of those that have to reincarnate Gilgulim, or there is no neshama that get punishment in this Beidin of heaven that has karos, someone that will announcer, okay, that declare what's the punishment, and avonotamid every day, all the time there's announcement that this guy is suffering, and this guy gets punishment due to A, B, and C, and D. Okay? And it doesn't move from him. It doesn't move from him. Also, he has a shoter, he has an inspector or a cop. He makes sure that this neshama will go through these sufferings. You can't get away with this. You can't get away from it. One can be saved, by the way, if he live in heaven and on earth, people that will daven for him, people that will do kaddish for him, people that will give tzedakah on his behalf, or if he gave to a yeshiva that is studying Torah all day. Okay, so all these things that we do le'ilui nishmat. What is le'ilui? Ilui la'alot, elevate. Poor people that has nobody that can help them. There's no kaddish. So they're suffering the most. The most. Okay? Bottom line, it says that even this guy, this neshama, that changes punishment from time to time. Depends what level he reached, and then he go get less pain, more pain. It depends. Okay, moving on. Why it's not the punishment in Gehenna, in hell, is not enough? Seems like really serious over there in Gehenna, right? Even in Gehenna we have different levels. There are 7 levels in Gehenna itself. Right? Did you hear about that? The levels in Gehenna? What's the lowest level of Gehenna?
Abaddon?
Under it. What? Sheol.
What's wrong?
All the way.
Sheol, it says, the pasuk, Morit Sheol vaya'al. They're saying that about Sheol, no one can go out.
That's right.
But there is ways. There's always ways. The Jewish are very creative. There's always ways to get off the punishment. So, we'll get there. Bezrat Hashem. So the Marchu says, why one cannot get the entire punishment in Gehenna instead of verses going through so much? It's a great journey. It takes forever. והטעם הוא כי אינו יכול לקבל עונשו אשר חטא בגוף הגשמי עד שימוג שם בגוף ונפש. Meaning, when you committed the sin, you had a body, flesh and blood. So you're supposed to get the punishment with some sort of a body. So you will feel it. This is how you have to come to this world, to a body. Stone, soil, animal, whatever. After this thing clear, you go to a laundry machine called Gehenna, and then you can go to Gan Eden.
Purifying.
Everyone has to go through Gehenna. Only the great tzaddikim, they'll pass by it, they see, Baruch Hashem, where they don't go, and then they go to Gan Eden, to their place. They earned it. So when this nefesh, this neshama, suffers so much, by that, his sins are being atoned. And it's very, 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 very individual. It's so complicated. Depends who are you, how many times you already came to this world, how long you did this sin, what was you knew about it, you didn't know it's a sin. It's very complicated. Only God knows where and when. Again. Make sense? Okay. Now, when the nefesh went to a stone, for example, finish its time, it doesn't go to Gehenna or Gan Eden, for example. He has to climb one level. Now they go from stone to a plant. Okay? After certain time in that plant, he will have Gilgul in an animal. When he finishes the animal, he'll go to a human being. After human being, the tikkun is complete. The rectification is complete. Sometimes it happens that they can skip 2 levels. Okay? From a stone or soil to an animal, a skip plant. We mentioned that last week. When the cow, for example, eats the plant, it will get some of the soil with it. So now the nefesh goes, like take a ride with that plant to the body of the nefesh, the cow. If we do kosher shechita and they eat it, it finishes tikkun. Okay, this is a shortcut. Now, another option. If one was in a fruit or a vegetable, and I take from this table, what we have here? We have
Thank you.
pistachio, watermelon, melon, and I do bracha. I elevate this neshama from vegetable, skip one level. Animal, go immediately to a man.
Wow.
Skip one level. I save this neshama by doing that. Let me ask you a question. What's the bracha on a pistachio?
Eight.
8. What if I did bracha, Adama? Huh? Do I have to say bracha again?
No.
What's going to happen to the neshama that it's in the pistachio? It gets its tikkun or not? It's not the correct blessing.
Was your, it was your kavana, you had the right kavana? Does that
Kavana.
matter? Okay.
I will share with you about that question a story at the very end. Bezrat Hashem. What time is it? Wow.
Time flies.
6:40 almost.
No, 6:37.
It's almost, oh my
This is what
goodness.
it
Okay.
said.
Sometimes it happens that a nefesh will go the whole levels at once, from a stone to human being. Okay? When some of the dust of the soil mixed in a bread or in a soup. You think it happens to us in the IDF many times. As much as the cook, the chef, you can call him, cover the pot, there is always in the bread, always you can feel it, because jeeps coming in and out, and they're causing a whole cloud of and it goes through the tent. You can't avoid it, and it goes through the food. It was always with it. I think we did so many tikkunim there, I'm telling you. And there's nothing else to eat, so we got to eat it. Okay. So this man, ate that soup with a little bit of the dust. The nefesh jumped all these 4 levels. Now, when a person eats with kavanah, he says, okay, I have a pistachio here, or I have an apple here, the bracha is ha'etz. And he said the words slowly, Baruch Ata Boreh Veri Ha'etz. With this kavanah, he released all of the nefesh, the tikkunim, the neshamot that is there. Could be 1, 2, 3, I don't know how many. If you don't, they will take you to Hashem's court when times come. Because you could release them and you didn't do it. They will seek for revenge. And they become like persecutors against you. When you ask persecutors. Prosecutors. I have problems with this word. You have to
They
explain.
persecute you.
I hate persecutors.
They're both bad.
But listen to this. I'm going to tell you today something extreme. But it is what it is. There's a saying in the Talmud that Amaretz, what's Amaretz?
People of the land.
What's people of the land?
Somebody who's not,
It's not a Torah learner. I mean, it could be a professor for physics, a medic. He's very smart. But doesn't know anything about Jewish halacha and Torah. It's still considered Amaretz. Or a wicked person. Talmud says they should not eat Amaretz. It says it is not permitted to eat meat. This is the declaration. Why? Because instead of elevating the shamot and releasing and rectifying for them, he just ruined them. And what happens? these neshamot goes to him and they're affecting him to commit more sins. And I tell you more on the extreme. It says in the Zohar that in a way it sounds that's better. I'm telling you, it's very extreme. It's better that Reshaim, the wicked, will not do mitzvot. Did you hear that before?
No.
Make no sense, right? Why? Because when a Rasha do a mitzvah, giving tzedakah from time to time, chesed, or saying, I don't know, kiss the mezuzah, every blue moon, right? He gives this power to the chitzonim, to the other forces. He gives them power because he is surrounded with them, millions, billions of them. Anytime he commit mitzvah, he's doing a mitzvah, they get benefit from it. So it sounds like it's better that this guy won't get to do mitzvot, unless, of course, he's doing tshuva and he's changing his mazal completely. Okay? Because when they get power, it's affecting everybody. Okay, not him only. Just something to think about. And I heard it more than a rabbi that's saying more or less the same thing. It's not something we're really sharing. Because we don't encourage, God forbid, because not to do mitzvot. It's something to think about. For them, it's better to do a full tshuva and not just here and there. אבל if האוכל, the one that eats, is a rasha, wicked, or עם הארץ, לא די שאינו מתקן באכילתו, it's not enough that he's not rectifying with his eatings, could be נשמת הרשע תגבר עליו ותדריכהו בדרך העם מבלי מרפא. Meaning, who is in the fruit? It's a wicked. You get punished, right? Tzaddik will affect him to commit, to do more averos, more sins. And how the Am Haaretz, or the wicked man, can fix it? So you won't eat. What do you expect him to do?
Well, if they don't say the bracha, it won't be released. So
According to the Zohar, they can eat, but they should better stay away from beef, from meat.
oh,
I have to skip a lot because it's really going to this. I'm just giving you the... Okay. It says in the Tractate Psachim, you can check it out. Psachim 49b. Am haaretz asur ba'achilat basar. Am haaretz should not eat. It's prohibited for him to eat meat because it is not rectifying it. Okay. But a Talmid Chacham, a scholar, has the power to elevate one level from animal to a human being, to medaber. And one that is studying Zohar and Sodot, secrets from the Torah, can elevate two levels at once. Any bracha that he does. He can take a fruit or vegetables and jump this nefesh, elevated it not to an animal, to a medaber. It's a great benefit for that neshama. It's like they're waiting that the scholar, the rabbi, he will take the fruit and say the bracha versus someone else around the table. Because with their power, with the power of the mitzvah that they do, they help them to jump one level.
I have a question. So you're saying, like, if you eat a piece of beef, that would elevate the neshama that's in there. But what about when you say hamotzi that covers, like, everything you're eating, like the potatoes and the meat and the vegetables? So does that also have the power to elevate when you eat all the different...
Absolutely. Hamotzi in a seudah that you eat, hamotzi, and you have different type, it's good for everything. But hamotzi is not good enough. You have to make sure that netilat yadayim is correctly, you're saying the hamotzi correctly, and you're eating enough amount from hamotzi, which it has to be for you, at least kazait, half the size of an egg. Not just you tasting one. I mean, the process has to be accurate. And then you clear the entire table. Like one does, for example, for Birkat Ilano, when we said in the beginning of Nisan, you can free the entire orchard with one special bracha that he's doing correctly. Okay?
We're gonna say something about Shvat Shacharit.
Yes. And Hashem gave us also the opportunity to save lives in a way. So we'll have the zchut when we come to Shamayim. You see how many people it says, I don't know these people. Who are they? With all brachot that you did, so much bracha with kavanah, you release so many neshamot from their prison. It's all to your own benefit. See how much is important to do a bracha correctly. Just take another second or two, that's it. Doesn't take too long. And a Talmid Chacham, even if I don't do it today, I'll do it next time. It's still here, I have a sign. And a Talmid Chacham, a scholar, he says, Hamufla bechokmat ha'emet b'shosha, those who do Kabbalah Masid, he can lift a nefesh 3 levels all the way up. I notice that, you notice that too, that the great Rabbi Mekubalim, they rarely eat meat. They will do that on Yom Tov because there's a mitzvah on Yom Tov to eat meat. Not even on Shabbat. Shabbat, the idea is to eat fish. Or before Yom Kippur, to eat fish. Why? We'll see. We have it over here. Therefore, a person, each and every one of us, must be very strict about it. To eat food with Kedusha. And what is eating food with Kedusha? Is not only saying bracha correctly and holding it in the right hand, like we said, the whole procedure, the whole process. Make sure when you eat on empty stomach and not on a stomach that is full of waste. You know what I mean? Especially in the morning. Because it says, according to the Zohar, that the chitzonim attach themselves to this waste. Okay? So the Allah said, beside health reasons, eat on empty stomach. Rambam gives another advice, how much to eat. He says 2/3. Leave always 1/3 of your stomach empty. Never eat till you feel, I can't get in anymore, I'm full. He says it's very very bad.
I have a question. On the, so say you say the correct blessing for like the pistachio or the whatever you're eating, and you don't say the after bracha, what then? Does that still release?
That's
the
including the after
That's
bracha.
including the after bracha.
Absolutely,
Okay,
I told the whole process.
Yeah, okay. So it's
That's
not
the whole
just,
process. I mean, before and after.
okay.
It's a must. If it's not, it's you didn't release the neshama.
Okay. I just wasn't sure on the after
The
bracha.
problem is many are more strict in doing birkat hamazon, but many don't do bracha achrona. People eating watermelon, and they're saying borei pri adama, and they forget to say when they finish what? One fashot. Most people drinking water, shako. How many sayings borei fashot after? Most people forget to say bracha achrona, the short one. That's a problem.
I have another question quickly.
Okay, I won't get to the story today, but maybe I'll do it later. B'kasha.
So sometimes, unfortunately, I speak for myself. I let's say have say a shehakol, and then 15 minutes later I take another drink and I forget that I said shehakol and I say it again.
So you have to be, in fact, that's what we said, before you grab something, think about what I'm about to say, and if you have an obligation. It's enough to say shehakol once. Have in mind, as long as you're in the house, because if you go out and in, then you might need to say bracha. Okay. And it says in the Torah, Bechol avat nafshecha tochal basar. You can eat as much as you want basar. It says tochal basar. Gematria, the numerical value that cast is the numerical value of these power, Li, and the other name. It's hinted in this meaning, comes to hint us. Ochel basar, one who eats meat, a lot of meat. Magbir, he is giving power to the evil inclination that comes from the nukba of the klipa. That Lily and Memchet, I don't want to say the name. Just so you know, we can rectify, we can fix it. Doesn't mean don't do barbecue from now on. You can do it, it's all good. But with measurement, and say brachot. With much kavanah, so we can overcome the other power. In total, we have, I think, we have 6 levels in Gilgulim. Number 1, the highest level is to be reincarnated into fish. It's only for great neshamot that have very slight sins, or they didn't do a mitzvah aseh, didn't make the efforts to do extra mitzvah, so they'll come in fish. What's the reason? Because fish are very easy. It's aseifa bilvad, meaning collecting only. You don't have to go through shchita, slaughtering, yes, kosher. It's the easiest way to know if the fish is kosher or not. Fins and scale, finish. Lower level is chicken, because chicken has to have shchita. One sign is enough to know if it's kosher shchita or not. Third level, lower than that, is in a behemoth, it's beef. And the neshama suffers there a lot. And you have to check if shchita is kosher when it cuts 2 parts in the throat. Lower than that is going to a plant. Lower than that, number 5, it's inanimate. And what's lower than even inanimate object? It's the insects, roaches, and the kind. Shkatzim urmasim, and it says, or Chaim HaKadosh says, "V'zeh avda tikvato," there's no hope. And b'chinat reshoim, the wicked, amemirim datam. Who gets this great journey to be in roaches and the kind? Those who leave their emunah and join other religions. They betray God completely in the Torah. Yisrael b'chinat ha-reshoim amimirim dotom, posh'ei Yisrael asher ifliu asot, and all those who are even if he didn't change his religion and belief, but he was wicked in a very, very high level. Okay? So they're going to, and I think they're coming back and they're suffering and they go back again and again and again.
What if the cockroach gets killed?
It's going to come back again to another cockroach. I think there's enough cockroach on earth.
That's why there's so many.
Now, one second. Arizal told his students. Let me ask a question. So, can we tell who comes from a gilgul of an animal or a behemoth? Can we tell? So Ari HaKadosh gave them a sign.
They act like
He gave his students a sign to tell which, in the life before, it was an animal. When he says, the Arizal said to his student, when you see people that they're azepanim, the en lahem busha mibnei adam, people that they are chutzpah, they have, I said, nerve, they have no shame, no tznius. You should know that this guy was an animal before, or impure, not chicken, no, you say bird. Thank you. Impure bird. Before that, like they have no busha. They're saying even doves has busha. Busha means shame. But this guy has no busha. If you see people that have no shame when they do things with a woman, and the woman does with them in public, Ari says they were in the life before dog. They are elevated into a man in order to rectify, and they're doing it again. Same, they didn't have a dog goes with female men in the middle of the street. They don't care, right? So you see people there with all these Hollywood movies and all that, they have no shame. Okay? And Arizal says in Sefer HaGilgulim, he says, Rov anshe dorenu, most of the people in our generation, the Ari says, Hayu Megulgalim were reincarnated Gilgul in behemoths, in animals. This is why you see have no shame. And he's talking about his age, when people dressed modestly back then. They have had, the women were modest. You know, even Hollywood has back then, strict rules. I heard one rabbi says that it was part of the rules that they didn't permit to show a bedroom.
That's right.
Right?
In the 1950s.
And little by little,
What do they call it?
here doing this and doing that.
Yeah,
You know.
And then
Committee.
you had
Yeah,
cable
committee.
TV started and that, so the
They couldn't
regular
lay the same
TV
bed.
had to compete with them for money and
Jonathan
so
Webb to
they
hear.
lowered their standard. They couldn't use the word pregnant.
Can I ask a question?
Okay, so I have to finish it later. I want to owe you a story, so we're going to keep this story for later, for next time. I'll let you ask question. Next time we will talk about, can you get me a pen? We'll talk about how is it possible that a stone will talk? And what does that mean when the Torah says in the book of Habakkuk? You heard about that? Habakkuk? About a stone that talks and a piece of wood that speaks. What does that mean? Okay, the Navi is not just saying words to impress the people. There's a deep meaning behind it. Okay, and we all know that a human being can turn to. Can you give me an example? We're done with that. Give me one example. A man turns to inanimate object in the book of Bereshit. No,
Yeah, Lot's wife.
Lot's wife. Thank you. What's her name?
No, we don't know.
We know. It never says.
This is law.
It says Irit or Edith. That was it. Anyways, let's go. Question.
Yeah. How do you stop Russia from eating meat? I mean,
How you stop what?
of Russia
The Russian
from
Russia.
eating meat? You can't. I mean, you say it's forbidden for Russia to eat beef, but you can't do.
Because
you
they
can't
don't
stop
fix.
them.
They make it worse. You can't. So you need to come and study Torah, and then become a better person, and he no longer consider Russia. It's a problem. Right? Yes.
And so we say that if someone goes to tshuva, right, all the other world really, most at least, at the time, are wiped away. Uh-huh?
Okay.
Okay. So if you have someone who does tshuva even at the last minute of his life or her life, does that mean that any part of the nefesh does not go into any of those?
No, they have to go through
They have
a
to go
great
through-
punishment, but he's not going to lose his share in the world to come due to his teshuvah. Even he just thought about it, boom, car accident. We talked about it on Shabbat, remember? Car accident, you still have a chance. The faster, the earlier you do teshuvah, the better. And Rabbi Yonah in Shari Tshuva emphasized it more than once. And even says that if you late and you wait, it's a chutzpah. Because you know what you're doing now. Earlier the better. The more you fix, the less punishment you'll get.
But the other thing is, Hashem created man im chesronot.
Correct.
Okay? There may be a few that are 100% perfect, but end up.
There's nobody perfect.
So
Hashem knows what we're capable of doing, and He's gave us the Torah according to what we can do. And everyone has his own cheshbon, his own package to fix. You don't know what you want to fix, but there's a sign. You can see what you're doing, and it's against Torah and against Hashem's. And it's a sign for you that this is what you need to rectify. And I mentioned before about these people that do the parade, right?
Gay
The
pride.
Pride Parade.
Huh?
The gay pride.
They're praying on that. So they said they have tendency from young age, let's say, to play with girls. I always with the girls, I play with the girls. My friends play basketball and soccer, and I like boys. Okay, so it's a sign that this is what happened with you in the Gilgul before. You came with this impression over the neshama. Instead of rectifying it, you are going with it.
Indulging.
Someone that has tendency to steal or to lie or to cheat, and he says, I had it from young age. This is a sign for you that this is what you had in a Gilgul, the life before, and you came to fix. Everything is good. It's very good that you know what's wrong. Just fix it. It's all good. In a way, it's a good thing. And then you know what's to rectify. Many people don't know.
Except for if you live in an environment where...
Right, it makes it harder.
Makes it much harder.
Next to impossible.
When they say
I agree,
it's
totally
okay.
agree with that.
Right. If
Okay?
bad is
The
good.
Torah says don't despair, don't give up. There's a chance for everybody, even for Menashe.
Fun.
If I tell you what Menashe did and where he,
Yeah.
you can only imagine where he tattooed Hashem's name, him and other Jewish kings. I'm ashamed to say it, but use your imagination. And yet, Hashem accepted his tshuva when he's insulting Hashem on a daily basis. So there's a chance for everybody, Jews and non-Jews. Okay? Any more questions?
Does a non-Jew go through this?
In a different way? Yes, absolutely. They had to do tshuva. Jonah's story. Nineveh, they're non-Jewish. Okay? And it's a whole concept. If a Jew will go reincarnate in a non-Jew body, or a body of a non-Jew will go to vice versa. So I can tell you the first thing, yes, a Jew can be in a non-Jew
I
body.
knew that's possible,
No,
but the
the
other
other.
way.
The Ramban says, I will finish with that. The Ramban says, those who come to convert to Judaism sincerely, keep Torah and Mitzvot, accept the promise of Torah and Mitzvot, there used to be a Jewish neshamot before. But they threw it behind them, they underestimated or go against that, and now they need to earn it. They have to go through all these sufferings and beg to be accepted and go through all this. But this is how they do their rectification, the tikkun. Right? Make sense?
There's
Wanna
a
think-
great book, by the way.
Yeah, I read
It's
that.
called
Rabbi Zamir Cohen? Rabbi Zamir Cohen?
Sarah Yocheved Bridler.
Okay.
But that was
I want to thank everybody for participating in the shiur. We might have a shiur tomorrow. It's going to be the halacha about Elul. I might move it to tomorrow and not on Tuesday. Okay? I will send the message out. And Bezrat Hashem, hope to see everybody on Shabbat. Wishing you Shavua Tov
So next
and all the
Sunday,
blessings.
we'll do-
Next time is here? Same here?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I guess same time, so maybe 5
But
minutes
the
earlier.
Sunday, right, but the Sunday before Rosh Hashanah,
Thank you.
we may have to move it somewhere else, because I'm gonna be in the kitchen.